Here's how I made this track.
So after the first 2-chord progression that I laid down, I added 2 more chords to it, which were B flat and a C chord, I believe. Then I doubled it, played them a little differently, and made it stereo. And it sounded like this. Then I wanted to start adding some percussion, and I found this hi-hat loop. Shout out Splice. Almost every sample in this track came from Splice. No, I'm not sponsored. And then I added these drums. I wanted like a boom bap, old school feel, and this loop that I found was great. I added in a sample kick for some reinforcement. Then I added in a clap. Threw in a tambourine loop. Kind of fill out the percussion a little bit more. Next, I added the bass. I knew it had to be kind of funky and jazzy to match everything else going on. Fortunately, I'm not very good at the bass guitar, so I had to MIDI that in. Next, I added these piano one-shots. Kind of like a secondary background melody, adds a nice texture. Then I found this string sample that really ties the whole vibe of the chorus together, and it matched my progression perfectly, which was crazy. I don't think I pitched it at all. And there's some like white noise Foley stuff in there. This is a saxophone that I added in, kind of chopped up. Added a nice layer in there. Next, I added this guitar neck slide sound. You hear it in all sorts of songs from the 70s. A lot of hip hop stuff. It's a really popular sound. Fit the vibe nicely. And then lastly, I just added some cymbals. Kind of make the whole drum kit feel come together. In this kind of like pre-chorus section, I found this dope sax solo, also on Splice. Looks like I repitched it a little bit to fit the key of my chords. And then going into the drop, into the chorus, there's this drum fill. I wanted a real sounding fill there. So again, digging through Splice, going through some different real drum fill recordings, I found, here you go. So it sounds very different, obviously. I cut out two different parts of it, just that little snare roll and then the tom hit. It matched the bounce of the drums that are already in there so well. That was an obvious pick for me. And then at the beginning,
about Western man and his choices,
in the intro, there's this dialogue going on.
The question of choice.
I love adding spoken word type stuff to my tracks. It just gives it a whole extra personality, and the vibe of this speech that I found
life and death
felt like kind of set up the track really nicely.
And to what extent does man have the freedom to make such decisions? Man as an individual and we as a Western society.
first section of the song. I just reversed the vibes that I had recorded, which reverses the progression that kind of gives it a weird, darker feeling than the rest of the track. And then just my favorite way to make an outro for a track, especially one like this, just throw halftime on the whole beat. Gives it a nice chopped and screwed type vibe. Slows it down. So this sounds soloed by itself sounds absolutely crazy. But with the track, it kind of doesn't feel quite as like alien, I guess, but I basically just wanted like a unique glitch sound to kind of add some uniqueness, and that's what it was. So what I did, I just pulled it in and stretched it way out, and it like just really drew out the sound and made it that really weird like scraping type vibe. But anyways, that's the track.